I need to thank my sponsors for today, the Downtown Growers Market. You can access local food at the Downtown Growers Market using your EBT or SNAP benefits. And the best part about that, they're going to double up your food bucks, which means you're going to get to spend half the money and get twice as much amazing local food. So go check them out. They are every Saturday from 8 to noon at Robinson Park, 8th and Central. Thank you so much to the Downtown Growers Market for sponsoring today's show. True Consequences is a true crime and mystery podcast with stories based in New Mexico and the American Desert Southwest. I'm your host, Eric Carter-Landin. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of True Consequences. I'm your host, Eric Carter-Landin, and today I am joined by two very special guests. We are talking about a fairly recent case today, and I'm going to go ahead and bring my guests on here and have them introduce themselves to you.
Hi, my name is Danielle Saavedra. I am Ryan Saavedra's mother.
Ryan Saavedra Jr.
Welcome to the show. I know that you are here because you're fighting for justice for your son, Ryan Saavedra. Can we take a little bit of time and talk a little bit about Ryan, who he was, what he meant to you, what he meant to the people in his life?
Ryan was a very special boy. Smart. Just loved being around people. Loved working. He loved helping the homeless. He liked just helping people in general. I would pick him up from work and he would say, "Mom, go to the store real quick." And I'm like, "Why?" He had all this food from Chick-fil-A where he worked. He would get out of the car and give the bags of food to the homeless people, and he just felt like he had to do something. He liked giving money to people. Ryan would give his shoes off his feet to give to somebody that needed them. He was a special kid. He loved school. He always talked about cars. He wanted a car. He was saving money for a car. He wanted to get into business. He loved stocks. He was always talking about stocks and buying stocks, the stock market. He was a different kind of kid, very unique.
Everyone would notice him.
I also want to mention something from his sister Marissa. She's not able to be here today. She has a little baby. Ryan has a little brother also named Mateo. This is how she started. Ryan was so smart, and I believed he could make a future in who you are by everyday choices you make. He had a drive for success and plans for his future. He loved to work and stay busy. He has so much confidence in his drive and his future. He loved his family. He cooked breakfast sometimes for his brother. He loved his nephew. He took every opportunity he had to tell you he loved you. And when he said it, you could feel his love around you, assuring you he was never scared to say what he wanted to say and was a hard-headed at sometimes. He loved to annoy us by mocking us and making jokes. Ryan was so smart. He talked about the government and how secret societies all the time and how there was so much more out there that we don't know about. He took the time to acknowledge himself and read these long articles about secrets on the government and how they talked about it all the time. He was way over his time and he knew so much about life. That was from his sister Marissa.
That's beautiful.
He liked to write music. He always talked about life, and
He would play these games. They do these games and with his little brother, and they would play in these groups, and he would have all these friends he would show me, and from all over the world.
He had a dog.
He loved to cook. I mean, I'm a barbecuer, so I would barbecue, when it's not windy. Ryan liked salmon. We would eat steaks on Tuesdays and lobster tails on Thursdays, Go to work, with the...
Yeah, I would get that text, "Mom, what's for dinner?" He always wanted home cooked meals. He's very particular what he ate too. Very picky. He wanted me to cook like I was like some master chef.
Make sure you add some rosemary or basil or...
He had a girlfriend that he was always with. They had plans for their future. They were planning what they wanted to do.
This past 3 years, we've been an extra seat at the table with her and extra food that I had to cook. We had to verify with him that she was coming over to eat. Ryan, coming over. Do I make her a plate? Yeah. Make sure you make mine medium well.
Well, with his dog, we got him He's
A
waiting,
pug?
a little black pug. He's going to be a year in August. Actually, real close to Ryan's birthday. That's coming up now in August. He would have been 19.
Yeah, Nipsey.
So he named his dog Nipsey after Nipsey Hussle. He wanted a female for him, and eventually, yes, we did get the girl. Her name's London, but he liked Nipsey Hussle. He liked listening to different music.
X Young. He was a really big fan of. I took him to the concert, dropped him off there with his friends, two of his friends, and they're all excited. And I never really listened to the kids' music until Ryan's passing.
Makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Ryan, we're gonna miss him.
I know that we're not alone. Albuquerque's becoming a very depressing place. There used to be a time where people were walking around happy and, now you see more people walking around depressed because their involvement is similar.
Yeah.
You feel the people's pain. We're not the only ones. We're becoming part of that statistic that I think New Mexico and Albuquerque is creating for everyone else.
There's nothing for these kids. Nothing for them to do. It's unfair.
It's just unfair.
And then when they do catch people like these people that do these things, they do 10 years and get out and still live their lives while we eternity lost ours. We get the life sentence, not them.
It's really an unfair situation, that we're living in here in New Mexico. And it's one of the reasons why I started this show is to make people aware, because until you've been personally affected by this kind of trauma, you don't really understand how awful it is and how terrifying it is to lose somebody that you love so much. And to see the fact that things aren't changing, they aren't getting better here. They continue to get worse. It's like continuously re-traumatizing these families because they're watching things happen. Right. They're watching more and more kids get killed, more and more people get killed. And like you said, the people that are responsible are not held accountable. Justice isn't just anyway. Like, even if there was a death penalty, it still wouldn't change the fact that this happened. And it still wouldn't take away your pain. We've got to do better than what we're doing. You know? Yeah, we can't just be like, justice isn't just, so we're just going to let everybody free to continue.
Every time there's a homicide, your son that was killed goes on the back burner because there's a new investigation. And it's like every day, nothing's stopping. And it could be a lot of the times the same people that are out there doing it, but they're not making arrests. The detectives want more evidence. Right. They want to build a case.
I feel for these guys, these detectives, they're doing...
I think they need to bring more detectives or the federal to come and get this state in control.
Yeah.
I think it's a crisis, it's just... People say, we have a bad homeless problem, let's throw the money that way, No. They gotta throw it towards fixing this murder problem. These kids on social media showing off their weapons and these messenger groups. They need to monitor them.
Yeah.
Maybe they are, but maybe made a designated group to where they're watching them 24/7 and finding out who and why. Ryan never showed that he was a violent person. He never... No guns, no knives. He was he played video games. He
was a gamer.
He had a girlfriend.
He didn't even have the clothes like he was.
No gold chains, no fancy cars. Ryan didn't have a car. For him to be sucked into this violent tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
All because of where you live.
Yes.
I feel New Mexico, the state, took my son. And it's still taking other people's kids. Because it's not stopping. And that's what makes me hate Albuquerque.
Yeah.
We've been to California twice. I feel like I'm at peace when I'm out of this state.
Yeah.
When I come back, I get drawn back down. I get depressed. People say, it's everywhere, it's everywhere. We went to other states and you don't hear all that.
Right.
Every day. Yes, it does happen. Every single day.
I think when we look at things like Albuquerque, for it's a city, it's a pretty good sized city, but compared to other cities, it's a small city. And it's pretty easy to run into people all the time here.
Right.
Yeah.
Things like that don't really happen in places like New York as often as it would happen here. And so, yeah, there's crime there. But the thing is, we don't have that many people here. And I think that the people, like everyone is affected in some way in this town by some level of crime. And I think that's the difference, is because we feel it more because it's not as big of a city, but we have big city crime. We have big city murder. We have those numbers with a smaller town. And I think that's why it feels heavier here, and then it doesn't help that when we look at the news, you see people who are killing people that are just being sent home to go do that again. And then they do. And then the same thing happens again, and it just keeps going. It's a vicious cycle.
They're feeling it's okay to kill someone. They feel like they'll get away with it.
There's no consequences.
A slap in the wrist.
Yeah.
So it's going to continue.
And even if they get life, that's 30 years. If you're 18, you'll be out when you're 48, and probably before that. You still have a whole life you could live after that.
Yeah.
So what's the reason to not be that way? What's the reason to not do that? I know this is going to be a difficult conversation, but I am hoping you can walk us through a little bit about what happened the day that Ryan died. What you know and what you can tell, because I know this is still an open investigation. Right. So I know there's probably some stuff you can't talk about.
No names.
Right. But anything you can share, and specifics will help, because I think what we're looking for today from the listener is any information. If anybody was in the area when this happened and they saw anything, or they know somebody, or they've heard people talking, anybody who knows something, we're going to ask you later to share that information with the investigators. So if you're listening right now, this is the part of the conversation where we're going to talk about dates and times and locations. If you are familiar with anything related to this case, you can anonymously submit a tip. You don't have to say who you are, and I'll go through how to do that in just a moment. But can we talk about the day that Ryan died?
That day, I was at work, got off of work. I'm painting this sign, green light auto sales, on a scaffold. I got off at 4. Ryan was getting off at 5:30. I was supposed to pick him up after work. Went over there, painted it for an hour and a half. This is a side job that I have. So then I went and picked him up after work. I told him, hey, I need to go paint for a little while. At least an hour and a half. Let's go back. So he went with me. Finished there. We got on the freeway. Danielle cooked us spaghetti and meatballs. It's our favorite. Then Ryan ate like 3 bowls of it. He was hungry. He was getting ready. His girlfriend was going for him. Michaela's coming for me. And he took a shower. I could hear him upstairs playing with Mateo, making him laugh. Ryan opens the door. He tells me, I'm going to Dad. You are? You're still going? Yeah. Going to work tomorrow? Yeah. I'll be back in the morning. Okay. I love you, Dad. I love you, Mom. Are you taking Nipsey? Yeah, I'm taking him. All right, I love you. We'll see you later. Doze off, go to sleep, like 45 minutes. Get a phone call. Ryan's been shot. Danielle answers the phone. Ryan's been shot. Okay, get in the car. Get Mateo up.
Keep thinking he's okay.
And then we get in the car. And we'll get a call from the doctors. Are you Ryan's parents? Yeah. Is he okay? I can't really tell you right now. What is he? Is he stable? Is he in the ICU? The doctor didn't have no other choice. He's like, fortunately, he's no longer with us. I lost it. Got to the hospital. Just lost it. I don't even blur. Just a big blur.
Yeah.
What we found out was that they were at a park.
Westgate
Park. He got lured in from social media from these other kids. They met up over there.
They maced him and his girlfriend.
A girl maced him.
The dog. She couldn't barely drive. She said she's just trying to get to the hospital. She said it was burning. Her eyes were burning really bad.
Ryan got shot one time. Underneath the arm in the chest from the passenger side. When he felt the gun, he was maced. He felt the gun and he told go. And as soon as he said that, the gun went off. They shot. They said they found multiple casings at the scene. I know over 20. They found over, I guess that hit the car too. Thank God that Ryan's girlfriend and the dog wasn't also hit. She drove Ryan to the hospital and the doctor told me that he didn't suffer.
left. I think he was already gone when she was driving him.
Yeah.
Because she said his head was down.
The reality of what I have to live with for the rest of my life, and what my family has to live for the rest of their life. And for people who know us and know that me and Danielle have been together for 26 years with 3 beautiful children, come from good families, good structure. This is wrong for us to go through.
Right. Big life change. Yeah, it's just hard because he had a future. He knew what he wanted to do in life. He wanted to be business, stocks. I mean, there was so much stuff he wanted.
Like I was saying, anyone who's in social media, they should be aware there's these other people out there. They're on another level, different class, no class. We have these people living here with no morals, no upbringing.
Hey, this is the second story I've had on my show of something similar happening where people kind of trap somebody through a social media platform and convince them to go somewhere to rob them, and ended up dying, and that was Elias Otero. So it's very similar in the MO. And I think doing some initial research, I've seen there are other cases like this of this happening.
Yeah, it's a growing statistic. Yeah.
And they're saying it's like groups of girls are setting these guys up, and then these other guys go out there and hurt them.
I think it's really important for other parents listening in the metro area to know that this is something that's happening.
Yeah.
Because you think everything's fine. Your kids are working. They're doing good. You don't see no signs. They're not out there buying gold chains like they're doing something they're not supposed to, because Ryan was just a normal kid, ready to graduate, going to work every day. They loved him at work. He was detailing cars.
Where's the help start, though? I mean, the governor just announced that they're going to bring these state cops in, and help with the murders. How is that by pulling people over, helping with murders?
Right.
We need help in the detective department.
Right.
Not with the traffic stops and the DUIs.
Right.
There's a different, it's murder. DUI causes murder, sure. But there's guns out there. And it's overflowing our streets. There's more guns than there is people. Yeah. That's what it seems like. And they're in the wrong hands.
There's like 15-year-old, 14-year-old kids that are with
they're
guns.
Showing it off on video and cameras. I mean,
I can type up names and see stuff, and it's like you see them showing it off, and it's like, why aren't these police like, this is your child. Do you know what your child's doing?
Right.
Because then they're going to end up out there in a group of friends thinking they're cool and go hurt someone and think it's okay. Because that's what's all
go to LA.
So the kids are getting educated by seeing the murders and everything on the news, because it's not a secret for our little ones to hear.
Right.
And they're thinking it's okay.
Right.
It's not.
You go to these bigger cities, LA and Denver, you don't see the cops traffic stopping, harassing people, overwhelming amount of cops in the area. That's not how you fix the problem. You fix the problem by hiring more detectives, and you don't see that. You don't see them. They're undercover. They're doing their job. They're busting these people that are acting up.
Yeah.
They're getting it out of the way.
I think the other problem we have here is the catch and release laws as well. That's making it extremely difficult on the police, because they can do their job. The investigators can do their job, get all the evidence, arrest this person. But if the judge is going to let him go, or they're going to get a plea deal that's going to give him a shorter sentence, what does that do? That doesn't help anything. We were talking about that earlier. It just makes people continue to act like they're going to act.
Yeah.
We've got so many problems here. We're one of the poorest states in the country. We have some of the worst education in the country. Yeah. There's no hope for kids that are growing up poor in this state. They can't see the future because they're seeing their friends getting killed left and right. They're seeing, people who are selling drugs making way more money and having a way better lifestyle than they could have if they were working an honest day's work.
Yes.
And then we just don't deal with these issues. We don't talk about it. And the state refuses to acknowledge that these things are happening. And they always try to offer these Band-Aids that don't do anything. We've got to deal with all of these bigger issues that are causing this to happen. You know, we've got to deal with education. We've got to deal with poverty. And we've got to deal with laws that make criminality unappealing to people, because what do they have to lose? They could go sell drugs and have all their guns and everything. They don't have anything to lose. They'll go to jail they go to jail for 18 months and then they're out and they're doing it again.
Yeah.
And they're making thousands and thousands of dollars.
They don't want to live here anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, this happened to me. I'm afraid I don't want to lose any more of my kids.
Yeah.
We've been wanting to leave for the past 3 years. We couldn't leave.
What was the date when this happened, when Ryan was ambushed?
April 21st.
2021.
It was midnight. 4:20. It was midnight.
This year.
Yes.
So Westgate Park, around midnight.
Yes.
It was April 20th going into April 21st.
Yes.
Of this year. So for anybody that, you know, maybe was in the neighborhood, maybe was around there, or maybe knows people who were involved in this case, if you know something, you know, the investigators are still looking for additional information related to this crime. We would really appreciate it. I think the family, Ryan's family, would really appreciate it if you know something, if you report it, you know, to help the investigators with this case. You can do that anonymously on p3tips.com, or you can call Crime Stoppers and report it anonymously as well. Any information that could lead to the arrest of the people that were involved in this murder, you know, that's the only solace that families in these cases have, is hoping that the people who were responsible get brought to justice.
And I think they will. I mean, I have 175% confidence on the detective that's working Ryan's case.
Mm-hmm.
It's a relief it's a comfort. It's closure. Detective, they're gonna get him.
Sure.
They're gonna get him.
Sure.
And like
we
you
just
said,
don't
nobody.
know when.
Yeah, we just don't know when. I mean, that's the thing.
That's what's hard with us every day,
with us.
because every day there's another homicide, and you don't know if it's the same people that are involved.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad. It's hard.
Yeah. Well, and it's scary too. Just, you know, you don't know what these people are up to.
I'm even afraid to even go to the store or do anything here in Albuquerque.
Right.
Because it's so common here. It's not even a place to call home anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pride thing. It's a culture thing. It's a small town thing, I guess, where people mad dog each other. They look at each other. They road rage on each other.
That's what we were in Denver, and my daughter's fiance said, I really liked it there, because we went to like some singing place where they sing, these youngins sing to become artists, I guess. And she told me, Mommy really liked it. He said, because he goes to things like that here, because he sings, and they're looking at you every which way. And he said, over there, everybody was just real nice.
Yeah,
they didn't have a look to give you, or.
Well, I think that's one of the things we're missing is hope for kids here. You know.
It's changed a lot. I mean, when I was growing up, it was bandanas and dickies and cholos.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to school. I mean, I was into basketball and art. You know, my dad brought me up doing art and working construction. And my grandfather owned a sand and gravel business. It was Saavedra Sand and Gravel. I would help him with the shovel out there, spreading the landscaping material. And my dad was a trucker, so he would haul out that material, doing landscaping and art, bringing that into Ryan's life.
Yeah, you showed Ryan about stuff you did for the community too, so he saw that.
Yeah, Ryan was
we were
really intrigued. And when I was growing up, it was, you know, the cholos with their slick back hair and their hairnets and their dickies and their Converse. And now the kids are, you know, you don't see it. You don't see that.
They don't go out and fight each other through math. They
like
want to
tight jeans, skinny jeans,
take your
long
life.
hair. You know, it's changed so much, and you don't know what to look for as far as a parent.
Sure.
If they are, you know, you think your kid is, you know, they're into this phase of their life that they are doing all right.
Mm-hmm.
They have these conversations with you that, they're in tune with reality. They're working.
Right.
They have their S together.
Right.
You know. They sit at the dinner table with you. They give grace. They're there at dinner every night, and you're like, you know where your kids are at.
Yeah.
You look at in their eyes. You know that they're straight into reality.
Yeah, they seem fine.
How's it going? How are you doing? Full-blown conversation.
Right.
You never know that this is gonna happen. You don't know what direction to look, the signs to look for. Ryan never showed any type of sign that would implicate him to be cornered in that situation that he got caught up in. Even in his room, we would look in his room and it would be like,
there's nothing.
Just a normal teenager, Mom would have to clean his room,
Water
make
bottles
his
under the bed,
water bottles everywhere,
plates and food and it's a lot of his stuff in his room still like that. I can't. His clothes that he changed out of that night are still in the bathroom. Just not ready.
Yeah.
We haven't even hasn't really. It's a big change for us. Really, really big change.
Birthday's coming up. He'd been 19.
Living in this imperfect world, that was created. Why do we have to go through? Why do we have to endure what other people are enduring?
Yeah, but I know he's in heaven. I see the signs.
Yeah.
Lots of them. Lots of signs.
What can my listeners do to help?
Get involved.
Get involved in your kids. I mean,
you
can be involved in your kids and
media.
think they're okay, but I think
involved.
a lot of it's social media. I think the state needs to start cracking down on these social media, what these kids are watching and what they're doing. I mean, it's obvious. They go by nicknames.
Mm-hmm.
They're out there swinging guns in the air.
Yeah,
smoking, doing drugs with their kids. I mean, you see it.
Yeah.
It's plain clear. I think more cameras need to be at these parks because that's where they like to be at the parks.
That's where the money needs to go. I mean, there's... but I'm just probably maybe looking for something or someone to blame.
Sure.
For my sons.
Sure.
Right. It's hard because when people have a lot, they say stuff. Oh, you should have done this. You should have done that. But when it's your child...
Yeah.
You don't... I never thought I never thought it would happen to me.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd be the one.
Yeah.
What can my listeners do to help with the case?
I wish there was someone out there. Maybe there is that can come forward.
Yeah.
And break down.
Something.
But
yeah.
I don't know. There could have been other people involved that were outside that knew or heard.
Or in the group.
Friends.
Mm-hmm.
Friends.
Say something, because when it happens to your children,
you would want someone to do the same for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to say before we wrap up?
I hope Ryan's out there somewhere helping these detectives.
I truly believe that he is. He was always helping somebody, and I know he's gonna find justice for us. I pray. Thank you.
Thank you.
Try not to, keep just trying to have closure and not be mad at anyone. Forgiveness.
Yeah, that's what Ryan would always say. Revenge, Mom, was never the key.
Revenge is not an option.
And I
for
always
us.
hear him say, like in the back of my head, you need to forgive them all.
We just want justice to prevail for
I know
Ryan.
he's in.
I mean, to have justice for Ryan. And I hope that the mayor and the governor take more insight to what is really going on in Albuquerque and not kind of sweep it underneath the rug. That's something that we're not supposed to talk about, or something that's we can talk about later.
Right.
Like I said, there's more people walking around depressed than there is happy.
Sure.
I don't know if I can mention this. If you
Sure.
can take it out. I know on 9/11 of this year, September 11th, Alicia, I got with her.
Mm-hmm.
We're planning a protest for this. So I don't know if
Yeah,
it can
talk
be
about it.
mentioned.
Absolutely.
Okay. So on 9/11 of September 11th of this year, we will be planning a protest downtown of Albuquerque Not sure yet what the time is. It could be about 1 o'clock. If anyone would like to go out there and try to get this crime under control, and whoever wants to participate to be a part of it.
Is that going to be on the Crusaders for Justice Facebook page?
Yes.
Okay, so the New Mexico Crusaders for Justice, if you're not a follower of that page, definitely follow it. There's a lot of information there. I'm sure that there will be more updates posted about the protest and where it is and what time it's going to be. I highly encourage you, if you listen to the Ilia Sotero episode, you know who Alicia is. That's the page that she's managing, and there's a community of people in New Mexico who've been affected by homicide, who are starting to come together, to unite, to
take our streets back,
to make a change. And that goes hand in hand with the nonprofit that I'm starting, Angels Voices, Silence No More. That nonprofit's going to partner with Alicia and with the Saavedra family, as well as everybody else who's fighting for justice here, to change the laws in the state and to help advocate for other family members who are going through this type of thing. So if you're listening to this show and you've experienced something similar, you're not alone. There's a community of people here who are just like you, just trying to make it through and trying to fight for justice for their loved ones. So, reach out to the Crusaders for Justice page, reach out to me. I'm happy to help anybody that's listening that's going through similar things as well. But you're not alone. And we're gonna change the state. Some people may want to leave, and I understand that, but I am gonna change the state, and people that are in the Crusaders for Justice, I know, are going to change this state. So it's too late for some of us, but we can make an impact here locally. So anything else before we wrap up? No?
Thank you.
I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you to both of you. I know this wasn't easy.
It's with a lot of other people. We're, like you said, a community now of people who are involved in this situation.
Thanks for listening to True Consequences. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at True Consequences Pod, and on Twitter at TrueConsPod. True Consequences is listener supported. If you'd like to support this one-man show, please go to patreon.com/TrueConsequences. Thanks for listening, and stay safe, New Mexico.
Shh. We're not supposed to talk about that.
Do not even let those words come out of your mouth.
We're not supposed to talk about that.
Shh. Do not go there.
Don't say anything about it.
Hush now. Naughty. We just don't need to talk about this right now.
Be quiet.
Shh.
We're not supposed to talk about
That's really taboo.
Don't talk about it.
You shouldn't talk about that.
Don't talk about that.
You aren't supposed to talk.
We can't talk about that in this house.
You shouldn't talk about that.
Can we talk about this?
We are going to talk about this. Welcome to Taboos, a podcast that discusses taboo culture.
We're your hosts,
Celeste
and Allie.
Join us in the exploration of all things society deems as stigmas, controversial, hush-hush, cringe factor, or eyebrow-raising.
From pole dancing to politics and everything in between, grab a drink and discuss with us.
And as always,
do you
be taboos.